or they won't. Tough luck on them.
Yeah, that's to try out a few things that we're about to try out today. So it's quite exciting. As you remembered, last time when we were talking, we were just kind of like getting ready and testing the first things out. And we carefully under the radar soft launched last week. And then as of Monday, I feel like, the functionality is complete. So we feel ready to get you set up as a club. So I think there's a lot of the faces are familiar from last time. So I kind of taken the slides from last time and reduced them significantly. So we fly through just some of the basics and the details in the beginning, and then the core of the talk. We're literally going to get your account set up and have a few people join, so we can start seeing what it looks like when you create your own group. You share an apiary if you'd like. You can see what it feels like to take a look at each other's apiaries for the people who want to share. So again, this is a dangerous game that we're playing, testing something for the first time. So bear with us. It's a little bit of a like a guinea pig moment right here that we're having. And this is testing something new is always a relationship, right? So we would love to hear from all of you, kind of what works, what isn't working, any kind of feedback you have. Also, Sarah, there's a lot of new things that are going to come out this season. So if anybody's interested in trying new things, we would love to hear from you. Sarah's always looking for some new prototype testers, people to try out new features that are coming out this season, or just have generally a good chat about what works or what doesn't for your respective beekeeping practice. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen here. Can everybody see the screen all right? Perfect. Yeah. So again, my name is Max. For the people who are joining in February and haven't been here, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hive Tracks. And at Hive Tracks, we're working to empower beekeeper communities around the world to increase bee health, authenticate honey, and monitor biodiversity. And we are now actually present in over 110 countries. So it's quite exciting to see the different types and the different styles of beekeeping all over the world. And about 70% of our activity is in the US. So we're still very US focused. There's 4 key areas that we're gonna talk about. So first we'll talk about how to get started with Hive Tracks real quick. I want to get everybody who would like the chance to get set up with their account, so that we can at the very end invite the people to the group so they can see the shared apiaries appear. We'll talk again just very briefly about the inspection and all the different other types of records, again, that help us understand what is going on in the hives. And then in the first section, we will jump right into how to collaborate with others. So that will be, thank you for sharing the email address, Lynn. We will basically create live the account to get ready, create the first groups, and get everybody set up and ready. So to get us started, for the people who would like to get set up with Hive Tracks or haven't downloaded the app yet, again, this is completely free of charge. So it's to get the mobile app ready, and to get you familiarized with the sort of like the language we use in the app and how it is working. And then in, I would say, about 10 minutes or so, when we get started and get it hooked up to the web system. So I'm going to let these QR codes up here for a moment. Feel free to put in the chat if you need a moment, or if you're already set up and ready to get us going. And if not, of course, on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, just by typing in Hive Tracks, you will be able to find the app for the people who want to see and come along, follow along.
Right. And if you don't get to the QR code, you just go to your Play Store or wherever you get your apps and just look for Hive Tracks.
Exactly. It will come up. Again, a few things. It is, the app per se is offline capable. So whether you have connection or not, you will be able to enter the data, and then it syncs the moment you're back in with a connection. You're able to get in there. Getting set up is quite easy for the people who've already done it. You can either do it through Facebook, Google, the account that you used to, or an email account. Enter your first name, email, password, and then you're ready to go. The first question that it will ask you is to get an apiary or a flowering site set up. Again, this is a reminder that as of December, we have some very interesting features around. I'm going to be talking more about that to also keep track of what's blooming in your area and to understand what kind of flowering plants, what kind of flowering sites you have, but also what pollinators are flying around. So it's an interesting little AI machine learning application that gives you an indication around what type of flower it is with a percentage certainty around it. For the apiary setup, really all it requires is the name. The date will be filled in automatically, so you can backdate that if you'd like. The next step it asks you is the environment and the terrain. So looking for the rural, suburban, or urban, and then kind of the terrain you feel resonates most with you, right? And you can even do it for different, kind of one apiary in this area, one apiary in that area. It's fairly straightforward just to get, again, every beekeeping is different, and this allows us to map and give better recommendations based on where you are and what your surrounding area looks like. The last step before the apiary gets set up is to choose a location. So this is a location you can either go in by address, or you can literally drag and drop it on the map, or you can add in your GPS coordinates if that's what you're comfortable with. Here again, apiary locations is a trade secret, so that's something that we don't share outside of Hive Tracks. And so this is, just your own, just something that we obviously talk about the moment you share your apiary with your own group. So with other beekeepers, they will be able to see where they are, right? So if you have a shared apiary location for the club, that is different. One of the key benefits of adding the location is that it pulls in the weather information automatically. So whenever you store an inspection, for example, it will automatically pull in the weather, and it will give you a nice weather forecast for the next week. So you will be able to time anything you do on the hive or the apiary together with the weather, and you can start planning around or planning all your actions in the apiary around the weather forecast. The next step is to get the hive set up. The hive setup is you can go very, very deep. This is actually an interesting statistic we found out the other day. So last year there was about 8,000 new beekeepers who started using Hive Tracks, and 70% of them added the color of their hive. So it was so a lot of people just go in very, very deeply and add on, the configuration and how many deeps and how many supers you have. The only information that is required is a name, and then the apiary gets auto-populated, and then you can select the hive type. And the hive type, again, for the people who want to experience new things, we did a lot of work in East Africa, for example, in Ethiopia. So if you click on select a hive type and you add a traditional hive, you get an icon of a traditional hive. So that's quite exciting. So for the people who are curious to see what hives look like in Ethiopia, for example, you can click on that. And then at the very end, it asks you how many hives you would like to create. So if you have more hives in an apiary, that's fairly simple. A little note there, when you create your first hive, if you duplicate it, it will just add a numeric number right behind it. So if you literally click hive and then you create 10, it will be hive 1, hive 2, hive 3, hive 4. So just consider that if you feel like adding and multiplying the hives. And that gets you set up. So quite easily, you then see basically the apiary view, which is the apiary view of the home screen. Right here on the left, you can toggle between the individual hive view and the apiary view. And on here, on the apiary view, you have a bunch of options. You can rename your hives quite quickly. You can reorder them. If there is something that you would like to have changed, you see the last visited date. And then when you click on the hive view, you get on your actual home screen where you can scroll through your individual hives, hives 1 to 3 in this case, and there you can toggle between your activity and your hive histories or anything you have done throughout the season. Just pausing here for a moment if there is anybody who's still in the process of trying it out or doing it, or if somebody has a question around the setup or any comment on this. You're on mute, Lynn, sorry. Oh, you're still on mute, Lynn.
There we go.
There you go.
I will just add that I used this last season, and I didn't know what to name my hives. I'm one of the ones that said it was a blue hive or the yellow hive or whatever. But I did eventually change them to numbers and different locations and things like that. So it's very easy to change things. And when you say how many boxes you have or what's like Langstroth or maybe I don't know what the other ones are, but it will show the little picture, which I think is very cool too. And I did notice that because I gave the addresses of where my apiaries are, it gives the Google map, but it gives the Google satellite view, which is very cool. You zoom in and you can see your hives, and I thought that was very cool. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
No, thank you, Lynn. And all of this is what you see in here. All of this is Sarah's work. So Sarah is a product designer. She has created hours and hours and hours of these little icons and has done the work. And here on the very right, what you see that's the summary of an inspection we will be talking about here in a second. That just gives you a nice view and again, with the weather information stored.
So
Alrighty.
When you set your hive setup where it says number of supers, I mean, I run 3 mediums. So just put 3 in there and put 0 for deeps.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can you start there, and then you can on the web portal you can be more granular, if you will. So if you go in web, you can take a look at that. So any configuration that you use, and then again, just remember anything you enter when you duplicate them, that all of that information gets duplicated, right? So if at the end you say, now create 10 of this, you will get a list of 10.
I tried that, but then it went crazy on me. So
okay, yeah, this is Sarah and I are taking notes. So if it's too many, usually you can create up to 30 at a time. So let us know if there's some trouble with it. We'll get it corrected. Very briefly on anything that happens in the Hive Tracks app goes about this little middle button right here. So clicking on it is like a quick access button, if you will. You can directly get to an inspection, to the to-dos or your records. And then here at the bottom, the home screen, community tab, calendar, and profile. Some of you there is 2 buttons that are, I'm not sure, Lynn, if you knew this. If you double click the home button, you switch between Hive and apiary view. And if you double click the calendar button, you switch between monthly and weekly calendar. So there's a few little Easter eggs in there for the people who like to try it out a little bit further. And there will be more. I mean, we're still working on the UX UI, but it is just small tricks that make it a little easier. Again, inspection is clear. To do is anything that you schedule, right? Anything that you want to do, that you plan to do. Records is anything that you observe or you have done in the past. So something you just want to jot it down real quick, it's the records. To do is the scheduling. So that just as a quick, getting through the basics within Hive Tracks. I have 3 screens on the inspections. I've reduced this significantly. So of course, the app the feature that is being used the most in the mobile app are the inspections. We recorded about 30,000 inspections last year. Because when you have everything set up and you start perform inspection, it pulls the weather in automatically. Here is something for the people who may not know this. If you click on the hive drop down, you can select all hives. Right, so if you have 10 hives, you select all hives, you inspect all of them at once. So usually what people do, if you have 4 hives, 3 are the same and there is 1 outlier, you can create 1 inspection for all 3, they're all good, and then you create 1 inspection for the simple one, right? So you can, depending on how many hives you have in the apiary, you can handle them all together. Same goes for every record. So if you have something that you applied for the entire apiary, you can just apply that, then it shows up in the history of each of the individual hives. Again, usually, Dina, thanks for your question. Usually the app gets updated automatically. I'm not sure if you're on Android or on iOS, but usually you should have that automatically. It should have the latest version.
So I don't have to go into the app store and re-download it. It keeps up to date.
Yeah, usually it keeps
cool.
completely up
I like
to date.
that.
Yeah, it does it. If your phone is put in the settings that it automatically updates all apps, then the Hive Tracks app will get updated as well. So it's something that does
Yeah,
it. And
yeah, I don't have that. I pick and choose which ones I want to update.
okay, then you would need to revisit the store just to make sure you have the latest version. I'm the same as you, Dina. I'm like I want to pick and choose myself. So I need to go in every time and be like, I don't want this to happen automatically. So I need to go in and
Okay,
do
so
that.
then I should just go ahead and do an update. Okay, that's what I thought. Thanks.
No, of course. And then, yeah, the inspections, of course, there's 4 big areas, 4 big questions that we ask: population, food stores, queen and brood, and diseases and pests. And this is, again, the core aspect here. We talked a little bit about this earlier, is to know how a hive is doing now, you need to know the history a little bit, right? So you need to know what you did throughout the season. And above all, we have this theme that we talk about, which is healthy habits, healthy hives, right? So it's like getting into this good habit, knowing what to look out for, and outliers are your friends, right? Whenever there is something that is off, that's the moment when you need to like take your pause basically. And that's something we will talk about sharing here in a second, where it's going to be quite exciting to have other people, basically cross-check and hold you accountable and have means to talk about it. And also the inspection helps you always to guide on what you need to do next, right? Once you finalize an inspection, you get a couple of recommendations that tell you what the things to look out for on the next inspection. You may remember there's 3 pathways of doing answering any question. The quickest one is just to say yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. You can always record more details, and you can always ask for more guidance. If you're just new into beekeeping, you want to check out more guidance. If you are into data like I am, you want to click more details. If you're in a hurry or you're good with it, you just literally click on thumbs up, thumbs down, and that's the same for the 4 questions. You will always see that. Again, I'm going faster here since we covered that last time. At the end, this is the notes section, so you can either dictate your notes or you can type your notes. And again, we encourage everybody to take pictures, right? If you're in a if you're really in a rush, it helps so much to just have a picture. What did that frame of brood look like? What was that hive like? What did I see? It really just helps to get a good imagery, a good history, again, a good story of your apiary. So that's the inspection, just as a quick refresher and a reminder, and then we will move over to everything, I would say everything but inspections, which is when you hit the record button. So some of you may have tried this already. You will see, again, this is Sarah's beautiful artwork. So she's created a lot of little icons that allow you to record anything you would want to do. So these can be, it can be feeding, can be mite assessments, harvesting, a dead hive if we have to, winterization. Each of those have unique fields that you can enter, right? So depending on what you do, there will be some drop downs that help you do it. There's 2 records that a lot of people use. One is a journal entry. We get the most beautiful bee stories with the journal entries. People are just entering, their thoughts, stuff they did in the day. And then the other one is called Other. And Other literally allows you to just adjust the name of the record. We had James, for example, he recorded a bear encounter. So when there was a bear, which happens a lot in this area here, then he just literally said bear encounter and he took a picture of what it looked like, right? So anything that happens throughout the season with the Other button, you have a good means of like taking care of that. And now this is, brand new in the app. It's only been there for a couple months. Is again this machine learning integration that tells you what kind of flower or what kind of pollinator it is, right? So if you see a bumblebee or a wasp or some kind of insect that you're curious about, you can take a picture and then you get a percentage and you get the name and you get a little bit of detail about it, right? So you understand and you see what it's like. And then on Hive Tracks Pro, we will show that later. We are now starting to move toward how pollinator friendly are these plants, right? So we're working on literally being able to create a pollinator friendliness score, right? So you can go in when you have a flowering bed or you have a garden, you want to see how something works. We're working very hard on seeing what blooming, what is a live blooming map, what's currently in bloom, and then again, what is how friendly is the foraging environment for the apiary that I have, or the hives that I have. And it's again, it's either the document pollinator or the document flora. You can add those records to your apiary or to a specific flowering site if you have one in your garden. And then this is what it looks like. So we will see an early version of this on the dashboard here in a second. Later this season, you will see more of that. So you have a floral inventory. You will see all the different flowers you recorded throughout the season, and then all the different bees, pollinators, butterflies, anything you took a picture of. You can also see that to get a good understanding of how fit your garden is, or how fit your the proximity of the apiary is. Likewise, we talked a little bit about this. Of course, the environment of an apiary is very, very indicative of what kind of honey you will have. So one thing that you're able to do in Hive Tracks Pro, and this is something we will try out here in a minute, that we could do for the beekeeping club, is to create its own QR code with an origin story of the honey, right? So it's in the app where you can literally tie your honey harvest record or your inspection record and make it publicly available, if you like, on a harvest profile. So there's a text that you can fill in. It can be about your own beekeeping operation or about a customer, depending upon what it is that you're interested in. Are you gifting your honey? Are you selling your honey? Are you distributing it? We've had beautiful stories for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for a wedding. We've had some for Veterans Day. So it really depends upon how you would like to tell the story. And it's very easy. It gives you a little QR code that you can put on a jar. And then anybody who asks you, where's the honey really from, you can take a look and they can scan it, and then they can see the honey description, flavor profile, plant description, the map, those kind of things.
Before you get off the honey profile, are you adding in lantern flies?
You can add them in. You can definitely do that. So you can, if you hover flies, lantern flies, any of those, you can add your own pictures of the flowers. This one is the one we created for sourwood honey, which is very common in this area, in the western North Carolina part. And this is again James, our business partner. This is his Faith Mountain Farm is his farm, so he created this one for his own business.
I'd rather track the sourwood than the spotted lanternfly honey. But
Well, so what I did though is Penn State did the analysis. There was a researcher that did the analysis who said it's 5 times better than Manuka. And so on our website, like for Eldersburg, I was going to post that research and then say that I have it available.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great. I mean,
yeah.
anything we can do to spread the word that the local honey is better than the international honey, I think is great. I mean, that's fantastic. And if you create a QR code like this, for example, it could have the link on the QR code here as well, right? So you could publish that and could showcase that. It's like, this again is a tool to tell a better story. That's, we call it the honey story. And it doesn't matter whether your story is to sell on a farmer's market or to sell bees or nukes, whatever it is, it's a means to tell a better story and tie it to the records that you create throughout the season.
Excellent. Thanks.
Of course. All right, and with that, we're getting ready already with to get us started in the new features that we've done. Again, it's the collaboration part. So obviously, the mobile app is nice and fun, but we know that beekeeping happens together, right? And all about beekeeping is to see what other people are doing. So very early on, when we started developing a web version of it, we wanted to make it very, very easy to get people connected, to make it easy for people to have, whether that's a club or a little business or just 2 friends keeping hives together, to make it easy to tie the accounts together in a web account. So we've been working really, really hard over the last 7 to 8 months to get the functionality ready, to make it easy to sync the mobile app with the web app, and to basically that it doesn't matter if you enter the information on a mobile app or you enter the information on the web app. And then something else that we've worked on is to make sure that it's very easy for a club to be able to afford this. So we've essentially, the way we've created is that we only charge for an admin license, and an admin license can add as many mobile users as you'd like, and none of the mobile users needs to pay. So it's just one admin license at $70 a year to get you started, and then allowing to create as many groups as you would like, and adding different people to it. So this is the last slide that I'll be showing before we get started with the demo. So I'm really excited. Here's a couple of things before we get started. So we will again create your account. I will create a very simple password, Lynn, that we all will be able to remember, and then you can change it later on, so you can make it your own. We will invite all of you for the people who would want to. And please remember, when you do share apiaries, you can share as many or as few as you would like with the group. Do remember that the shared apiaries are editable by the people that they're assigned to, right? So this is a tool that means to, like, if it's a shared apiary of the club and you want to assign that apiary to 2 or 3 people, or you have a couple mentees that you would like to work with, that is, the moment you assign it to somebody, it becomes editable by that person. So we're working on a view-only functionality, but that will take a little bit of time. So just, be aware when you do that, depending on what group you join. You can always unshare an apiary, and you can always leave a group. But this is, again, something just as a group, when you decide to do that, just be aware that is the case. So without further ado, I'm going to switch gears here for a second. And so this is what the Pro version looks like for me right now. So this is basically my dashboard. These are the different sites that I have: my floral directory, my pollinator directory, and then the statistics on my apiaries. So this is what a populated account looks like. And now what we're going to do, you remember from last time, I need to walk around a little bit to get the lights back on. There we go. That was easy. So now what we will do, I will create a new account. I will click sign up. And then shall we say first name Greater Baltimore?
Uh-huh.
And then, or Greater Baltimore area, and then last name Beekeeping Club.
Sure.
Great. And then I had the email you had shared with me. There you go. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 QWER. 1, 2, 3, 4 QWER. And that's the information. I will share that with you, Lynn, and then you can change the password later to make it easy.
Okay.
You're going to get ready. I'm not going to save it here. All right, and this is kind of like this is a blank slate. So we're going to get started. I'm a little nervous to do this completely live, but we're doing it. So we're going to click Beekeeping Management. We are going to start by creating a group. We are going to call, what would we like to call the group?
GBs.
Very good.
GBBEES. 2 B's.
GBs. Perfect. We don't have an apiary yet. This distinction right here is important because we have businesses and clubs, right? So we're going to create this as a club. The difference is, if you have a club, anybody who joins the club can unshare their apiaries as they want. If you create a business, when you have employees, you wouldn't want your employees to run away with the apiaries. So that's essentially the way that we create it. So we create the club. We're going to start the free trial. And then I'll get you the code later, so you get a nice discount, Lynn. There we go. So this is it basically. We have created the first group. So we're now going to click on the group. And now what we have here is the invite link. So when you click this link, this link gets copied. And I'm going to do a little trick now. And I'm going to share that link with Sarah real quick, who will create a QR code for others to join. And then in the meantime, what we're going to do, so these are the different tabs, right? You have the home tab, the apiaries, hives, biodiversity sites, people, groups, the map, and then you have the honey story. Let us start by in apiaries creating the very first apiary. So we can call this GBs1. We do it today. We can do it purposes training. Do you have the address of a clubhouse, or do you maybe even have a club apiary we could use?
Not really, but I'll give you my apiary.
Sure.
11044
1044, yeah.
Green Spring Avenue. Green Spring, one word.
Green Spring Avenue.
Right
there we
there.
go, this one.
Yep, that's it.
Fantastic. Would you say it's rural, urban, suburban?
It's rural.
Rural, very good. Backyard, mountain,
Uh,
forest,
it's like farm field.
farm field.
Yeah.
So it's more like, yeah, so it's agriculture, you would say?
Yeah, I would just say backyard. Just say
Backyard, perfect. So here you go. We're now assigning the apiary to the group.
Okay.
Changes have been saved. So this is our first apiary. We are going to create GB's hive 1. Hive type is a Langstroth. That's the only information. We're going to create the hive. Perfect. Now we have the first apiary. We have it with a hive. If we now look at the group, Sarah, let me know how far you've come. So the first thing we can do is, this is the table to access the different member permissions. So as soon as we have people invited, we can share them here.
Mhm.
And now, if we click here, this is how you can, these are the share settings. So here you can see you can share or unshare your own apiaries with this particular one. So the settings have been updated. We go back to the groups. This is it. And then if we click on the map now, we can see where it is. So we can filter it by like inspections, no inspections. If you go to the home screen, we see the little map of it. We see our dashboard here, how many apiaries we have. The apiary health is just baseline 100% right now. And at any point we can go in, we see we don't have any upcoming to-dos. We don't have any records yet. There's just this one hive. So it's all fairly simple. You can like click through and see where you are. And now what we're going to do as soon as Sarah is ready and she already has it for me. Perfect. Now what we will do is I will stop sharing for a second. And then we will go back to this slide. So for the people who want to try to join the group, you can scan this QR code.
Oh, very cool.
Or for the people, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna grab the link here too. Gonna go back to it. For the people who are on their mobile, I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
Cool.
So again, for the people who are on the web who would like to join the group with their mobile phone, they can scan the QR code. For the people who are on their phone, they can click on the link in the chat. Either works.
Very cool.
And then you are taken to a page where you need to just confirm the invitation. So it's by just adding your regular email and the password.
Use the one I have set up. For heaven's sakes. Okay, cool. I'm successfully joined.
Well, fantastic. So now we should see. There we go. Look at all the people who joined.
Ah, look at
I'm
that.
so happy that this is working. This is
Oh,
great.
good. This is great.
So
Great.
now, here is, here's the few people. So this is again, we now have, so we can see, this is the GB's group. So now we have the different people who joined it. So Rob, Jane, Lynn, Bonnie. These are the people who have joined. And now as an admin, you can see that when you do the GB's one as an apiary, right? So I can now go in and assign GB's one to Rob, to Bonnie, to Jane, to Lynn, right? So I can go in, we will do that. And when I now click on save, this has been saved. So that it takes a little time to refresh, but this GB1 now shows up on the mobile app of Rob, Jane, Lynn, and Bonnie. So that's the way basically. So you then all of a sudden you have a new apiary appear in your list, and that new apiary is the one that you basically manage together. And
Right.
when you go, Lynn, when you, for example, go into your mobile app and you go to your profile screen, so on the very right, on the mobile app, you can there decide and click. This is what the button looks like. There we go. It's called Group Settings.
Okay.
So if you click on Group Settings, it takes you to a page,
Like your
and
group.
there you can select the groups that you're in, and you
Yep.
can decide which apiaries you would like to share.
Okay.
Right, so you can see, is there an apiary you would like to share with the group? And you can decide which ones you would like to use and which ones you don't.
Okay.
And those are the ones then that show up in the list here, right? So you have a member permissions, and you can, as an admin, I'm now logged into the admin, you can unshare somebody. Yeah, that's it really. And now if when we look at the map now, let's see. Here we go. Here's two. So this is the ones that have been updated. Let me go back. There we go. So here is now, this is, again, so these are all the ones that have been updated since November. So you can start seeing the ones, you have the different ones that are located here. You can see here we got, the Red Rose Farm. It was queenless, had low population. So we can check out the ones. Is there anybody that had an inspection? This one here, for example, Red Rose Farm. We got GB's one. We got DMB's. We get Lisa and Rob's backyard, right? So these are the ones you can take a look at. You can go in, you can see the different hives. You can click on one of them. You can see when were the inspections in July, as an example. Again, so this is only for the apiaries that, within your small group, right? So you're able to take a look at that. You can see who are the different people now: Robert, Nicole, Bonnie, Rob, who are part of it. You can see who is an admin and who is a member right here. How many records? So this is almost like a lead board, right? So you can see who are the most diligent beekeepers, right? Who created the most records. We can see here that Bonnie is winning with 39 records right here as an individual compared to the others. And then when you now look at the home screen, let me see. So these are, let me see. Yeah, so this is the only one that has been shared with the group. So this is the only one that
That's
shows
mine,
here, right?
yeah.
Exactly. So this is the only apiary that is part of the group. If now, the moment that Bonnie, Nicole, Dina, or Rob, if they go into their group sharings and want to share one of their apiaries with the group, then they would also appear, right? So it's really, well, we spend so much time on making sure that you only share what you want to share and you can't see what you don't, what you haven't shared, right? So that's the, yeah, so that's really the group functionality. That's where we are at the moment. And then, of course, when you have these groups, you can create several smaller groups together, right? You can have one group for mentoring, you can have one group among 2 or 3 people. So it really depends on how you would like to see it. And you can check in on other people's apiaries if they have one that you would like to take
Right.
a look at.
Oh, cool.
Can you
There.
go over how to share again?
Yeah,
Like if
so
you're in the
when,
app?
yeah, when you're on your mobile app, and then so, you know, this is I'm on a flowering site at the moment. I took a few pictures of these. So I click on the profile page and I scroll all the way to the bottom. And then there's a little button there that says group settings.
I don't see that.
Then we may have to update your
This is
app,
what
Jane.
I don't know. Can you see that?
Hardly. There you go. Oh, can you scroll up a little bit from where you
Oh,
are?
I think you went down a little too far.
Yeah, scroll
Yeah.
up a little bit. Yep, a little further, a little further, a little further. There it says group settings. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks,
And then
sorry.
if you no, you're so fine. If you click on it, then you should be landing on a page that shows you
Got
looks like this, multiple groups. And then the group that you're in, you can click on it. And then when you click on it, it basically gives you the options or the option to
Okay.
add a particular apiary with the group, right? So and Lynn, you know, this is something that you as a club can look into how you would like to have the admin account, right? So this is literally something that we are trying to figure out. What is the best way to organize it? Do you want like a second admin license that can do that?
Right.
And anybody who just uses mobile, you know, if like anybody of you has their own mentoring group that you would like to get started, you can create your own groups too, right? So it's basically you have the Baltimore, Greater Baltimore is the umbrella group. That's basically the big mama group, and then you can have every individual can create their own groups that have their own mentees if you'd like.
So I just went on to the GB's one on my app. Here, let me back up.
Oh, cool. So you already see it on your phone.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So I went to the little house.
Yeah.
Right. I gotta see if I can.
Oh, you have the background, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I went to the little house and it listed all my
Okay, I see it.
apiaries, but GB1 is the first one. So I clicked on that and it says there's 92 records and 6 to-dos. I'm not doing them tonight, so there.
Yeah. No, and here, so now when you go in, you know, say you're an admin and you want to look at this apiary, right? So this is the GB1, and then you can see here that there is 4 people that the apiary has been assigned to, right? So you can see here these are the beekeepers that have been assigned to it. So that all shows up, and then when you are on the home screen and you click on your apiary, this is what you see, right? So these are things that we're still working on, like what is the total honey harvested, right? We're working on a lot more of the metrics. Then here you see the different beekeepers who are assigned to it, who is sharing it with you. And then if you go on, view the page, you see all the upcoming to-dos and then the past records. So if you, Lynn, if you wanna, you know, if you added a record, it would show up here. So you could literally go in and take a look at it. And then again, if this is your own account, you can always at the top right corner here, if you are in multiple groups, you can pick and choose. Go back into personal, for example, or like just the GB's groups, depending on which one you would like to look at.
Okay, so just to refresh for some people that weren't here last time, if you have someone needs help and they are in our group, our group app, you could have them take pictures of, say, their frames of bees, or something weird on a frame, or some problem that they're having, and they can take pictures, and then you can share that with each other so that you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
And it saves you from having to go physically to their apiary to figure it out.
Can you take videos?
Yes.
You can upload videos. Yeah, it's when you're relying on data, there's a lot of up and down, right? So pictures are more efficient, but that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens. So you can go in and then like this here. There's a couple more apiaries showing up. So I think Bonnie just started sharing her apiary, so you can literally go into an inspection and see like, okay, there was no picture added, but here are the notes, right? Couldn't find the queen, cells had multiple eggs, less than 10 capped brood. So you can start discussing that, right? You can take a look, and then you get your information here. You can filter them through. So if you could look at all your apiaries and say, okay, let's only look at inspections, right? So these are all the inspections, 2 pages of inspections, then updated since. You can download the data if you like to look at it in a spreadsheet. All of that is possible. So again, this is we're getting started with this. We believe that it can be a lot of fun and very useful, specifically for when this is something that you could check in on, right? And to kind of see, hey, what are the problems that some people are experiencing? And you can pull up the records and say, look, this is what my brood looked like last week, right? Or this is what happened with the apiary. So yeah,
I'm really good at breaking apps. So
nice.
I went into group settings. I'm going to try to do this. I know it's difficult, so I'm going to click it.
Yeah.
And little spinning, and I don't know if you can see that, but I don't have anything there. So originally I did see GBBs there.
Go back to your little house. Go back to the little house.
And so you're Jane.
Yeah.
I'm not. Here is what I think what may have happened.
So I have, wait a minute. So I'm at the house. Okay, let me select me again. That was my problem. Thank you, Lynn.
Well, that's only because I couldn't find me either. And then I went back to the little house and sure enough, there it was.
And also, Jane, I'm not seeing you here at the moment. So it may be that we need to invite you.
No,
again.
I'm getting sharing settings and there's nothing happening. But originally I did see GBBs there and I was gonna share, and I thought, I started using this back in July and then I didn't do anything with it. So do I really want to share that? Because I've been keeping my paper and not using the app. So I was like, I really need to update the app before I share it with anybody. So I tried to cancel out of it. So I'm wondering if I broke the app.
Yeah, Jane, no, Jane, I think what happened is you accidentally left the group. Because if you look here on my screen, there is no Jane in the list. Right.
Well, so how did I leave the group?
There's a little button that says leave the group. So what we will do,
okay.
If you just want to take a picture of the again, I believe that could help us solve it. And by the way, Jane, we love people who break apps. Those are our favorite friends because those are the people that help us learn and help us understand what we're not.
I used to do it professionally.
Okay. Then we gotta get you set up with Sarah because this is definitely
Okay, so it says looks like you're using a mobile device.
Yeah.
Please enjoy Hive Tracks through our mobile app. So I clicked on that.
Yep.
Open. I mean, I can see GBs there.
Okay. Nice.
But,
okay. Yeah.
But you're saying I'm not in the group?
Yeah, I think you're not. I mean, you're not showing here. Let me just take a look real quick and see if I clear my cache, if you show back up. There you go. Now you're back. There you go, Jane.
Yeah.
But I could see GBs the whole time. It never disappeared from me.
Now
Oh,
you're back in the group. So
you're back in the group.
you're back in the group, Jane. You made it. You're one of us again. That's how quickly it went. So you should be able to see it. So you're officially part of the group, and I can see you have 30
Okay,
records
now
from
I can,
last
now
year.
I can do the, yeah. Look at
Actually,
that.
now I'm not in the group.
Here we go. But this is good. So this is for us to help understanding kind of like what the glitch there may have been. And I think Lynn, yeah, now I'm not seeing
I think I did click leave. And I
leave
was
group.
like, oh,
Yeah.
wait a
The
minute,
moment
I didn't
again,
mean to do that. So
no. The moment you click leave group, and that's maybe it, Sarah. Maybe that's like something for us to
Okay.
notice.
Yeah, it's a UX issue that Franco and I were talking about. There's no like save, like when you join a group and you have that tendency to click a button that says like join group,
yes.
right? It's instead the developer put leave group there, and so you're clicking on that and then you're leaving the group.
Yeah.
Then
So
you're out.
it's like, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen, but that's the kind of stuff we need validated by you all to like tell us like fix this, because
Yeah.
it's coming.
And there, yeah, maybe it's a pop-up that says, "Are you sure you want to leave the group?" Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what needs to happen. To like, are you really sure you want to do this?
That would be good. Yeah, because
to make
that's
it
exactly
easier.
what could you put the QR code back there?
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
There you go, Lynn. And let's take that as a note. I think that's great because it's just so easy to get to this leave the group and then you're out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because that's exactly what I did. I went to save it or what, and I was like, oh shoot, I think I left the group. And I did.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, please enjoy. Okay.
So I have two questions.
Yeah.
Sort of. So how long does it take to show up on your app on the apiary? When I go, I'm not seeing it listed on there. I
Immediately.
just see like my two. I've closed the app out and opened it back up a couple of times, but it's not showing.
And I'm having the same thing. When I go and I click on
You go to your
either the
little house.
apiary or
Mhm.
on the house,
Mm.
and then I click
that's
over
immediately.
on the right-hand side
Mhm.
with the settings, all I see is like my name, my preferences,
Your own ones, right? So
my own ones.
Yeah, I believe Bonnie, and we're hoping that this is better solution, but I think I would try to log out and log back in. So go
Okay.
to the profile page, log out, log in, and then it resets all the data, and then it should show up for you. I think there
I
are.
didn't have to do that. It showed up immediately.
Yeah.
So,
in-
Max,
in that- yeah,
sorry,
go ahead,
can you
Sarah.
also just check the permissions and just make sure that, because I
Oh,
think when
nice.
you assigned it,
Nice,
maybe they
thank
weren't on in the group yet. Just
Yep.
check.
Yeah, Sarah, perfect. There we go.
Yep.
It's on us actually. So Bonnie, we will. So laughing person. Okay. Member permissions. So now let me do one thing real quick.
I almost did it again. Okay, I saved it from different page now. Okay.
And it might have made a difference, Max, as well, to have all groups versus the actual group
Yeah.
selected.
So now
Yeah.
GB1 is connected.
Okay.
Now when we do this, so Bonnie, you have GB1, so you should on your account, Bonnie, you now have access to Laughing Possum and GB's one. So that should show up on your Hive in a moment. And then Dina, you also didn't see anything, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to give you access to GB1. That has been saved. So now if you wait for a
Okay.
moment, it should show. And then
So
Robert,
do you want me to log out and log back in or not?
wait for a moment. It may be
Okay.
that like just closing and opening the app, that should be enough.
Okay.
And I'm going to add, let's see, Robert. Sarah, and this is another one that sometimes it appears below. There we go now. Okay, Robert, I'm going to give you access to GB1 as well, so that should show up for you. Nicholas, I'm going to give you access as well. There we go.
Okay.
So everybody should have access to the GB1 at least.
And what's the purpose of sharing or not sharing?
So the moment, think of it as like a pool. right? So basically, when you share your apiary, you add it to the pool so that the admin can assign your apiary to somebody else in the group, right? So basically, you're adding it to you're sharing it with the group, and then it can be assigned to other people.
And primarily, if you don't want it assigned to like other people in the group, if you know, what you're really agreeing to, the only way that could happen is if the admin assigned your apiary to another member in the group. So that doesn't happen automatically. So basically, you know, you can either, Lynn, if there's a club apiary that you use for educational purposes, you could share that with everybody and then they have access to it. But if you're sharing your own personal apiary to the club, the only one who's going to see that is the admin, the group admin. And then, you know, if you're comfortable, if you're saying, like, maybe you're a very experienced beekeeper and there's a newer beekeeper in the club, you can say, sure, you know, share my apiary with the newer beekeeper and they can kind of take a look at what I'm doing. Then that would be a circumstance where another member could actually see your apiary.
But if you're assigning your apiary to a new member, do you really want to do that if they can edit your apiary and
no, that's where that is very much you would have to be a mentor, right? And we're definitely working on this was the first step just to be able to share, and the next phase we're doing is just the view only option, right?
Yeah.
So when you assign somebody, that's when they have edit access. But if you only want them to see it, you know, then you could just say you can share my apiary, but view only. They can't edit it. So in the early days for clubs, I think it's really helpful if you have a club apiary that you want to show other people or that you use for educational purposes.
Okay, say I want to use mine, okay? And I want to say, okay, Jane has a problem, so I'm going to share my Waverly Farms with Jane. But can other people see that too?
No,
only
not
Jane
if
can.
just, yeah,
Only Jane can. Okay.
And here, so right now what we see here, when the apiaries that show up in this list are only the apiaries that people shared with the group.
Okay.
Right, so they basically share with the group means share with the admin. Right,
Okay.
so now I'm in the admin account, I see all of these. So these are the ones I can, if I want to distribute or assign to people in this group. And if you don't share your apiary, the apiary doesn't show up here, right? So you can be part of a group without sharing a single apiary and only be on the receiving end. So you only see the apiary that the group has. And as Sarah was saying, like this was the first step, which is more, you know, the use cases are managing something together, a shared apiary if you have 2 or 3 people, if you have a couple of mentees that you would like to look over their shoulder. Those are the use cases that already work well, small groups. And then the next step that we're working on is the view only, right? So you can share it within, it's almost like to be a follower of somebody's apiary and just be like, okay, I just want to see what they're doing.
Max, I would think
So-
you would want to do it as default is read only and leave it up, perhaps make it so you leave it up to the individual if they want to share a writability.
Yes.
And that way the admin can't screw up.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Lloyd, I you know humans. I appreciate that, and I think that's precisely, you know, what we and this is also why we haven't shared this broadly yet, because we know we've had. I mean, this was hundreds of hours of like thinking and what does it mean and how does it behave. So like now trying to knowing very cautiously, like handle with care. These are the rules. You can always unshare, right? You can go in your mobile app, you can unselect, and it's for specific use cases. We believe it can already work really well for like a small cohesive group that works well, or for if you have 10 mentees to be able to take care of your mentees and oversee the work that they do, or you have 1 or 2 close friends and you have a group with them and you trust each other, then it works great. And then Lloyd, I think your comment was spot on. View only or read only should be the default setting. Then in the future.
I did this for a living for a few years.
Okay.
So have the battle scars to show for it.
So Max, you're saying the people on that list have already shared with the admin but my
So they-
permissions don't show, are not highlighted, and I'm not showing that oops, I'm trying to
Yeah,
get
and
the
here,
right
so
angle.
Jane, exactly. So yours is Red Rose Farm, right? And you have not
Yes.
shared Red Rose Farm. And you can see here in the list, Red Rose Farm does not show up.
Gotcha. Okay,
Right?
sorry.
So
I thought you were
no,
saying the
this
people
is-
to the left.
No.
No, the people to the left are the members in the group. So these are the people who
Okay.
are in the group. But so I'm not sure, Laughing Possum, Waverly Farms, Glencoe, GB's One, and Chris. Those are the only apiaries that have been shared with the group. So
Okay.
now as an admin, those can be assigned. And currently, Lynn has Waverly Farms, Glencoe, and GB's One. Chris has GB's One and Chris. And Bonnie has Laughing Possum and GB's One, right? So no user can see any other apiaries right now except for GB's One. So it's literally, it's the admin who can decide if you wanted to share, and only the ones, that are part within the pool, that are part within the group.
So like right now, I can't see Dinah, I can't see Robert, I can't see Nicole or Jane.
Nope.
But I can see Chris.
Exactly, because Chris chose to share his apiary
Yes.
with it, so you're able to take a look at them.
Okay, and
But the
Bonnie.
others-
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Now, also to everybody, remember, we are special. We're the first group.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is like buying that brand new car that's never been on the road before, and
Yeah.
we're gonna find all kinds of little glitches, and we're just gonna make little notes, and then we're gonna send them to Max. And I forgot
Thanks.
what your name is.
Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
And we'll just say, okay, this is what we found. Is this working right or not? And then we'll go from there. Or you maybe you'll be able to see what's happening too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
No, that's exactly right. And again, we're planning in 4 to 6 weeks is roughly our window, right? So we want to have a club like yours that uses it and just give your honest feedback. And already what you did tonight is great. It's like there's a lot of explanation that is necessary. How do we make it easier for people to see how it works? Do we have a read only as a default, right? There's a few of these steps that there are, just the guardrails in place, the leave button in the permission sharings. That's the other one. So there's already a few very, very good learnings that we can take from here today.
Yeah.
Quite
Okay.
honestly, the leave button, it's not so much that it was for me, it was an understanding that clicking Red Rose Farm would give permission and unclicking it would take the permissions away. So it was a matter of understanding that toggle is what I really wanted to do, and leaving the group was going to take me out of the club altogether. So it was more of an explanation of what the buttons did than anything else.
Mine was pure habit, thinking that it was save or whatever. And
Mine wasn't.
Okay.
Mine was, I was trying to unshare and I thought leave the group was how I unshared. So
Right.
there was an understanding.
Oh, and I was gonna say just so y'all know, I was able to get GBBs to show up on my apiary list now. I did have to sign out and sign back in, and then that rebooted it. But just so you know how that did work out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And so then how do I share mine again? Because I see the DMBs and GB1 on the screen. But how do I?
Yeah, I'm actually going to do something real quick. I'm going to do, let me see, Max. So go here. There we go. Nice. So I'm going to unshare for a second.
All right, Lynn, what's in that cooler cup?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
He wants
What's
to know
in
what
that
you're
cooler cup?
drinking.
I know you
Mead.
don't want to say.
No.
It's mead. She's drinking mead. What else?
No, actually it is water. I thought about something stronger, but I thought, no, I want to know what I'm doing here.
Why should this day be any different?
Now, wait a minute.
We will see that on Sunday.
Yes, exactly. Sunday's a different story. Oh, jeez.
All right.
Well,
Diana,
I don't know what I found in the basement, but today I found a 5-gallon keg of mead, and I didn't get a chance to see what it was.
Ooh. You bring it that
Probably at least 7 or 8 years old.
Does that age like fine wine?
With luck.
You have to bring it Sunday. Let us try it.
Oh my gosh. I'll be walking home then.
Yeah.
So Dinah, to answer your question on how to share, you hit that person icon again. That's all the way to the right of your app. And then you scroll down to group settings.
What?
Yeah, I don't see any group setting.
Well, I didn't either. And then I went back and Max showed me it was there. Yeah,
Because
it's almost,
I
it's
see
down-
when I go to the little thing.
Yes, exactly. Sunday's a different story. Oh, jeez.
All right.
Well,
Diana,
I don't know what I found in the basement, but today I found a 5-gallon keg of mead, and I didn't get a chance to see what it was.
Ooh. You bring it that
Probably at least 7 or 8 years old.
Does that age like fine wine?
With luck.
You have to bring it Sunday. Let us try it.
Oh my gosh. I'll be walking home then.
Yeah.
So Dinah, to answer your question on how to share, you hit that person icon again. That's all the way to the right of your app. And then you scroll down to group settings.
What?
Yeah, I don't see any group setting.
Well, I didn't either. And then I went back and Max showed me it was there. Yeah, it's almost, it's down towards the bottom.
So when I go to the little human thing over on the right-hand side, I see
right there.
personal info. I
It was
see
right there.
preferences. I see save, take survey, and rate the app. And then underneath of that is the help center, refresh,
Okay.
sign up, blah, blah, blah.
It's not, it's Max. I don't think she has the updated version.
Oh,
'Cause
so
that
I have
button was
to,
yeah, I think if you update it to the latest version, it should fix that where you see the button.
okay, let me go ahead and sign out. And then go back to the App Store.
Yeah, and my computer was misbehaving here for a second, but I think I'm back. There we go. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to show this one and then have we can use an arrow. There we go. So that's the button.
Do you have a computer app for this also?
It is on the computer. Yes.
Yeah, it's the computer app. That's the pro version, right? So this is this one. That is the the web app, right? What we call Hive Tracks Pro. So it's the same login, and then you will see. So if you are,
Well, I understand, but I'm asking where to download that from.
You just
it's-
go to
it's-
Hive Tracks.
yeah, it's just a browser. It's pro.hivetracks.com. So it's not a physical copy on your computer. It's in the browser. So you go to pro.hivetracks.com, and then you can, with your same login credentials, you can even download your data into a spreadsheet, or you can see what is there. And then if you're just a member of the group, you cannot see who else is in the group, right? It's only the admins who can see that. So if you're a member of a group, you don't know who else is in the group. And even if you're on web, you don't see that. So it's literally only the admin who can see everybody's emails and names. So that's only part of that. So if you're a member of the group, you can just see what is shared with you. And if you log in on web into that group, you don't see anything beyond that.
We're seeing everybody now because he's sharing the group.
The admin view, exactly.
Yes,
I'm having
right.
and then I'll pass that on to you obviously here in a second, Lynn, and then you can change the password so that is safe.
Okay,
That's
updated
all right.
and
You
I
don't need
should
to
be
do that
in
right
there.
this minute.
Do you see the button now, Dina?
Yes, and I think I
Yes.
shared, and I didn't
Nice.
hit the get out of the group.
Good girl.
Yes, and Dina, this is so cool. Look, there you go.
There she is. There she blows.
Okay, so what I really wanted that for is I wanted to see the apiary map one.
Yeah, show her my apiary, my Waverly Farms, the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to to the map
Not to share it, but just seeing it on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So then
go to go to the one close to Timonium. The dot.
This one?
Yep, that one. But you had the pictures before?
Oh, yeah, before this was
Yeah.
this
Okay,
one.
now click on that one, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, you can zoom in.
So then I wanted to do the same thing with mine.
Oh,
Okay,
but so to do the same, the same one with yours, you would need to go into your share settings, Dina,
Okay.
and share the one that you would like to see. So is it the DMBs 25?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, very good. Then let's do the following. I'm gonna now, as an admin, I'm gonna add the DMBs 25 to the admin.
Okay.
And now, there we go. DMBs.
There you go. Very cool.
So you can see now it's the one, because you see that before, so again, this is the way it works, right? So if we go on DMBs and we click on these, so Greater Baltimore Area Beekeeping Club, that's the admin, right? So only the ones that are shared with the admins are the one that show on the dashboard. So right now we have GB's one and we have DMB Rose. And then let's see, is it okay, Lynn, if I add Waverly Farms as well?
Yep.
Okay, adding Waverly Farms, click save. I click here.
Well, actually,
I'll refresh the page.
GB's one is me too. So
yeah, you see that now you see it's the same address, right? So like Waverly Farms shows up and GB's one shows up. So any of the ones that, and now already here it says 3, and then we know, look, one of them had beetles, right? So there was there's 11 inspections with issues and 89 healthy inspections. A total number of 35 hives. The average hive health score is 88%. We had a couple of ants, mostly beetles, some moths, 1 dead out. And then now I can also, look at it independently and say, I only want to see Waverly Farms, for example. And then I know Waverly Farms is 24 hives. It's the one with the beetles. When I go into Waverly Farms, this is what I see where the beetles were, the inspections were. Again, we're working on this. We can see that Lynn Ellis and Greater Baltimore, those are the 2 beekeepers connected. And if I look at this one, I can see these are the different hives that are in there. right? Here's the last action was a journal entry, feed bees. I can see the type. I can see how old the queen is. I can see the queen breed. I can see all the upcoming to-dos. and then all the records, right? So this is all, I mean, this is Lynn at her best doing the different, checked for food, still has sugar bricks. I mean, you have excellent record keeping, Lynn. This is really cool.
Oh, no.
So like added more sugar. So again, this is the entire history. This is like she has 8 pages of notes. And here are all her pictures, right? So these are the pictures of the album that tell the story of all the apiaries that are in there.
Yeah, I added pictures in mine as well.
All right, let's take a look. So we go back to the dashboard, all locations, DMBs, and we go to the view page. Here we go.
Wow.
All Langstroth, all the different apiaries. We have a to-do. Whoa, it's overdue, Dina. We got to talk.
Yeah, it's been cold.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just been cold and ugly.
Yeah. Look at
your records that you've done, and here are your pictures in the Hive album.
Yep.
Right, so it's all, again, it's connected between the mobile and the web. And again, this is where we hope that a lot of kind of the connections can come, when you can start to see how they can be shared, and you start to see the different locations that you have in your club, and you can check in on each other's apiaries.
And so right now I'm the admin, unless I can twist somebody's arm and make them the admin. But right now I'm the admin. No, Lloyd, no. You're sitting there looking like you need something to do.
I have more than enough to do.
Make
As
sure you
well
ask
know.
him. Ask him again after he gets into that mead.
Into the mead, exactly. So the admin, here I am, and Dinah says, Lynn, could you share my hive? Could you look at my hive, but also share it with Jane or Bonnie or both of them, and add and have all of us looking at the pictures of the hives and the records and things like that. So we can get a big group or just one person or whatever. And I was I think Nicole is still on with us. Nicole manages hives for people, and she can maybe, if she wanted to, instead of leaving notes for her people, telling them, what she did with her hives, their hives, or what they need to do or whatever, she could maybe share that with them too. I'm not suggesting that she wants to do that, but it's a possibility. Right.
And that's one of the use cases that we're working toward, right? So to understand, and then usually you will have numerous groups that you will be a part of, right? And then you can have, if you have customers, say, they could use the Hive Tracks app and only see the apiary in the app, right? So they can follow along what you do, and they just have it on the receiving end. So there's many interesting, and this is literally what we're working on right now. What are the use cases? What does it look like if you manage apiaries for somebody else, or if you have them in a backyard? Like, what are the different constellations almost that you would like to try? And here too, for example, you could do a GB's mentoring, right? Or GB's queen rearing, right? So you'd have like kind of specific groups that serve specific purposes with only a handful of people. And then you can have one group where everybody, it could be like GB's everybody or GB's all. And then it just literally has like, there's 1 or 2 apiaries in there that are good for everybody. And then there's no limitations to how many you would like to do. And then obviously what we are immediately going toward is like starting to see, can there be a little bit like a competition, right? Can you see who has the most records, who has done so? And specifically for like when you get started or you're like in a beekeeping group, I think that will be a lot of fun.
Right. Okay.
So, Lynn, we could have one, or Max, could we have one where it's like Lynn and I, and we both are admins in our attempt
I love you, Dinah.
Well, in our attempt to kind of break your app to make sure that we know how to offer it best to our group?
I would encourage you to do that. I would encourage you to set up a separate group. I mean, this is the perfect example. We did this tonight to like get started. And then with a little click of a button here, you create a new group. You can only invite Dinah and Lynn. And then you can, you can try it out and you can see with the button. And actually, again, we're gonna put, Lynn, you have my email. I'm gonna follow up with the slides and the password, of course, and then we will put Sarah's email address and my email address to it. And we would love that. Sarah would love to sit down for like 45 minutes with you whenever you've had the chance to break it and take some notes and have had a week with it, to just sit down and kind of go, here is the laundry list of things where like this wasn't working or this wasn't intuitive or this was a little odd.
Excellent. Okay.
And this is such a good time of the year to get this set up and play with it and get the feel of it. And
Yeah, because in a month it's going to go crazy, right?
exactly. So right now, create a weird hive, and all kinds of problems, and just so that you can play with it and get the feel of it, and then you can always delete it. You can always say forget it, and start over again. So
Right.
I'll get the admin set up, and Dinah, I'll have you co-admin me and throw Lloyd in there too.
And
Well, exactly. I think that if we do that on Sunday, we can, well, we're all sitting there with our app phones right there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, so if you, for example, Dinah or Lloyd or anybody who is a member in the group, if you now go to pro.hivetracks.com, you log in and you look at the group, you will only see a button. You will see who the admin is. You will be able to leave the group and you will click on your share settings. That's the only thing you see if you're a member. So you don't see other people's names. You don't see other people's email addresses. You don't see other people. You're only, as a member, you can't see anything. So the only bird's eye view basically is the admin. And that's also, it was very deliberate choice to make sure, there's somebody who is the admin, who manages, who is the trusted person who can see and can cross-assign apiaries. And then also, since the moment, if you get started, if you are in there and you're a member of a group, you see that the permission settings are kind of like hidden from you. But if you create a new group, you become the admin and you see everything, you can invite other people. So it's literally like, it's this kind of tree that falls down.
Yeah.
Sounds like an octopus.
An octopus. There you go. Thank you. That's Lloyd. I was,
So the pro site, so I pulled it up online. So this was the one on the website where you have to so it's $6.99 a month. Like that's
exactly. And we have some. So if you go for an annual subscription, we have we'll share a promo code with you, so you get 50% off. Just because this is like the very first time we're doing it. So anybody who uses the code for an annual subscription for $35, you have the year for you.
Okay, and then but the one app is free, right?
The mobile app is free, right? You can use the mobile app forever and all that you want.
Okay.
And again,
it's just the pro app it's
the pro app. So if you want to create your QR code, your honey story, if you want to set up your own, if you want to download your data as a spreadsheet, if you want to have the dashboard, everything we just showed, those are basically the admin capabilities that we charge for. And then the mobile app, you can be part of 10 groups with a mobile app and don't pay for anything. So that's the to make it just very easy for people to participate. And then again, only the people who really need the deeper functionality and want to try it can go down that route.
So this is where I was trying to put it into words and couldn't do it. The admin, meaning me or GBs, is going to pay for the pro app.
Yep.
And that is then going to allow us to help everyone else get involved with each other if you ask permission, whatever. But in order, you just as an individual beekeeper can have the free app, and that's fine for your own record keeping or whatever. But if you want help from the admin, you will have that capability because you are a paid member of our group and is paying for the pro app. And that's why I say you're getting it free and as a benefit of being a member. And I did want to welcome our newest member tonight, Chris. He just joined today and is on the list there. So I want to welcome him.
Yeah, very, very warm welcome, Chris. And
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lynn, as you said, exactly. And then if there is somebody in this group who has their own mentoring group and mentee group, they can set up a pro account for themselves, right? They can then pay for it on their own terms, being still part of the greater Baltimore beekeeping club, but set up their own groups with their mentees and have some set up with them, where again all their mentees are for free. It's only the admin license. So we try to find a system that makes it easy to share and very collaborative and not cost prohibitive to get started. And to make it easy to try it out and not limit people because they say, okay, I don't use it enough to be paying for it.
Right.
So does that mean that I only have a phone? Okay, so I'm only on the phone and I can still set up groups and I can still make myself an admin of that group. And then when someone else puts it on their phone, I can add them to that group, right?
So you need to set up a group, you need the web access, right? So you can do that through the admin account at Greater, that the GB's account, basically, let's call it the admin account. So you cannot create a group on mobile. Right, okay. So the mobile users are basically the recipients. You can share from mobile, and you can be shared. You can be assigned an apiary. But
so Dinah, if you wanted to have your group of mentees,
right,
you do it under GBs, okay? Right. Then you grab your people and put them in your group, and then you're just dealing with them, period.
So under GBB account, you can have 4 mentors and have, let's say, 3 mentees under each mentor.
Exactly, with the caveat that the admin account can see all that information, right? So
the admin would create that.
Exactly. So if you, for example, had, I don't know, you have your own separate business that has its own separate mentees, then I would encourage you to create your own from a privacy perspective, right? I would encourage you to create your own with your unique email login, create your own subscription, you have your own account, and you oversee 4 mentors that have 12 mentees each. But in principle, it's exactly as you said. So with the admin account that you have, you can create the different groups within that, as long as there's no, again, this is kind of there's a big sign too, if you share, be aware, you're basically the admin will start seeing your apiary location, these kind of things. So that's essentially that's where we trust it's mutual responsibility, and we trust the person basically creating the group is the one that creates visibility around that.
And that's created off of the laptop.
The web version. Yeah, off of the laptop, exactly.
Dinah, you could use your sisters or nieces or somebody's computer and set it up that way rather than
Well, it is an inexpensive workaround. You could probably do it with just a tablet.
I have my work laptop that can't be touched, and then I have my phone.
And then and also creating a group is a one-time thing, right? So it's you saw there's you need to create the group, you need to click like we just did, you do the link, and then you set up for the season, right? So it's really it's not that as long if you have multiple mentees. So there's one other person that we are trialing this with starting next week or the following week, and she has, I think, 18 mentees. And she was saying, Max, I can't keep up. I'm getting text messages and I have to 18 mentees. I can't do that. So she was like, okay, let me try this and have my 18 mentees. So she does use the web version a lot. She's planning to go in there and check in with them. Her workaround was, every Thursday she has office hours. So every Thursday for 90 minutes, she goes in, checks in with all of her mentees, looks through their records. She can add a record to the list. It's hey, have you done a mite assessment? Have you checked? Can you take a picture of the brood? Can you do this? Or nice inspection. Let's continue. So there's, different use cases. But again, this is when you have the next week or two to play around with this. We're super excited to hear what you think. And then, of course, we have lots of other interesting things that will come up this season that will make it more easier, or it will get easier and more fun to engage and see other people's activity in the app.
Right.
So, Max, I have a question.
Sure.
Go to bed.
That's my 3-year-old. She wants blueberries.
Me too.
Can I have ice cream?
What's that?
I want ice cream.
So Max, you mentioned like if you had a lot of mentees and how they were getting lots of text messages. So is there an option in there for like a communication spot where you're not necessarily creating a record to like make notes, like you said, but like, is there a spot where you could look at, if you had a mentee, you could look at their records and then like leave a note, not necessarily, I'll be there. Just 1 second. Not necessarily create a record, but to like leave a note.
Yeah, not yet. So this is something that we've had a version of that, and it's on our roadmap. Right now, it's leaving a note is the easiest one. So just leave a journal entry and said, "I reviewed this. Looks good. Keep up the good work."
Yeah, like another record would be fine. You could just say like mentee, this is this week's notes that I have about your records, and you can put all your notes in there. And then when they open the app, they'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
And
shows.
then also a good thing too is like if you have mentees that just never know what to do next, you could look at the records and then you can say they need to do this action. And then you can create a to-do for them that'll show up in the app. It's like do a MITE assessment and they'll know, that that's something that they need to do. So it's kind of a workaround right now, but there are a couple of ways to manage mentees.
So literally, we're gonna do this real quick, and use the other one. What's a good example of like what is Bonnie?
Prep
what is something
food.
that you would leave? Prep food.
Check on food. Yeah.
And then you would select all, and then as a note would be it's important we take care of this before next week.
And maybe take a picture or something like that too.
There you go. So now, technically, if you look at this apiary on your mobile apps, it should pop up as a to-do for that apiary in your apiary list. So when you click on that apiary and you click on this particular hive and you go on the to-do list, this should show. So this is on GB's 1, GB's Hive 01. Let me know, Bonnie, if you see it.
It doesn't show up just yet.
Yeah, and it usually takes a few till it like syncs, but then when it shows up for them, and then this is something with the note, so it shows up in a minute. And then this is like an easy way right now to leave a note for people. And then you will also, since you can see how many people it's been assigned to. So you know that there is like 9 people who see this to do now.
Right. Okay, cool.
And then if somebody goes in and clicks it as done, then it disappears for everybody, right? So that's the other thing. It has been done. So this is again for this shared A period. It's a neat way.
Cool.
Wait, so if I click done on that, then all of a sudden the ones for Lynn disappear?
So the to-do is tied to the hive, right? So if you mark the to-do for this shared hive as done, so
then
let's
hive is done, right?
Let's do this real quick. So now it pops up. I say complete to-do, and then now this is another record. You can leave a note here and says, yep, food is prepped. Everybody is happy. Create the record. This was saved. It disappears as a to-do and it shows up as a record.
Yeah.
right? So then it's like it disappears from there, and then it should show up as a record on that particular one. And then it has this new one, this new note. Everybody is happy. Food is prepped. Everybody is happy.
Yeah. So I had a lot of mine in the app say it wanted me to do an inspection. Well, that's not happening until the weather warms up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then what you can, this is what happens when you look here, for example, a lot of these say inspection.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
these are like the planned ones. So what you can do, you can go and you can change the date, you can delete them.
Oh, okay. So just click on them, and then can I globally change the due date?
You can, no, you do that individually. So it shows
Gotcha.
up.
Okay.
So then you click on edit to do, right? So this is essentially, so the first time you create a hive,
Yeah.
like Jane has done here, it will encourage you to perform your first inspection. So those will show up. And then this is something that you can do on web, right? So you can click on multiple ones and you can click delete. Right.
Gotcha.
So this is again one of the versions when you like web kind of starts to make sense when you have more and you want to do more as like bulk items and more.
But in reality, there's really no need to change the date, is there?
No, not really. It's just a, I don't know.
It's too cold. I couldn't do it. I get it.
Exactly.
I do it the first day I have a chance.
Right.
Or on 225, I did my inspection that I couldn't do on 120 or whatever.
Exactly. So, and I have a more than a mild OCD thing going on. So I would like I would like the date to be correct. So that's the only, but other than that, you can just have it sit there.
But that's the due date. If you actually completed it, if the completion would show the completed date.
Right.
Like
so you don't need to change the date.
Exactly. If it doesn't bother you, you don't need to change it.
Okay, so I go in and it says 117 because that was when I was working in the app. And finally, I don't know, it's maybe next week I'll get lucky enough to open at least one of them up and do an inspection. It will update to that date anyhow.
Correct.
So if whenever you selected to do, and you click complete to do, that the to do disappears and becomes a record.
Yep.
Right. So it's like
Yep.
to do and record is like two sides of the same coin. It's just a matter of like, is it done yet? Is it still something you want to do, or is it already done? That's the way to do's and records work.
Yeah.
So this is what I did this last year. I would go through my hives, I'd inspect, and I'd say, oh crap, I need to put sugar on two of these hives. The other three are okay. So I would make a note of that. The blue hive and the flower hive and the whatever need sugar, but everybody else is fine. So then when I went back in to do the blue and the yellow hives, then it created that record, because I said I put sugar on those hives. So the to do reminded me that I needed to do that. What I needed was somebody to smack me in the head and say, go out there and do that.
We don't have that functionality yet.
It creates a honeydew list and it also deletes the honeydew list.
Exactly. So it's like, and that's kind of the way it works is that, and then again, to-dos as well, you can set up to-dos for all of them, right? You can set up one to-do, and let me see here. So we do perform inspection. You can do it for all your apiaries and all your hives at the same time. Right. So it's one to-do across the board. And then it will show up on all of these. I'm not going to do it here now, but that makes it easier if it's something that you do for the entire yard, for the entire apiary.
Like a mite inspection or a mite treatment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing I like, because it's globally and it's through the internet, whatever, is that you can look back 6 months from now and say, well, what was a year? What was the weather like back in February last year? And you say, oh my God, well, I was inspecting hives, today, and look, it's 23 degrees. I'm certainly not doing that this year. So it keeps the record of that, So you can, I like records like that. I like to look back and say, well, what was I doing back then? So
Yeah.
that's a
And-
really cool thing.
And,
No,
and,
and go ahead.
and Lynn, I disagree. You could have inspected hives today. If you took the telecover off or took the cover off and the bees were at the opening in the inner cover, you need to do something today. Cold or not.
Exactly.
And
No.
Lynn, what you were just saying, I mean, what you see here as like, we call it a dashboard, this is something that we will spend a lot more time on this season. So we're really excited to start to get into much more detail. How does the weather play? How does it fluctuate over time? As you, I mean, this is very, 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 very basic and very initial, the way we've gotten started. And the same going here on Waverly Farms. When you go on a specific apiary like here, you know, you see there's the ability to compare the year with the previous year, right? So you see there's like initial signs of what is to come this season, to be able to compare how do my inspections this year stack up with the last one. Did I do 7 this year? I did 5 last year, or how much honey did I harvest this year compared to last year? So there's a lot of that, you know, again, when people like ask, yeah, you know, why should I do it? I do it in a book, or why should I do it digitally? This is sort of where the power of the digital records come in, that your future self will thank you. It's a little bit of that component. It allows you to like build up over time. And these are obviously things that have accelerated quite a bit, and we're really excited we'll spend a lot more time on the web version this year to make it just easier, more interactive, but then also just much more useful to be able to look back and do comparisons, which is my healthiest hive, which is my least healthiest hive, how do they compare year on year, what are the differences we're looking at.
So Max, have you learned how to say no yet?
You can ask Sarah.
With what you just said, every bit of minutia that anyone would ever want to gather will eventually appear in this and make it essentially useless.
You should have a big chunk of meat with Sarah on that one.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
I suggest, well, first of all, if you come to the meetup on Sunday, I still have some GB's pens. It's not this one, I don't have one on my desk, but it has the stylus on the end that works your phone.
Oh, I love that.
So you need that.
Yes.
And I suggest you go to Staples or any office supply store and just get a bunch of the just stylus pens or whatever, and just keep them in your pocket of your your suit, so that you always have them. And literally gloves on and everything, propolis, honey, sugar, it doesn't matter. It's all over me. And I'm using my phone. I'm taking pictures. I'm using the stylus. I'm doing it all. And I'm just doing the quick thumbs up, thumbs down for the hives when I'm going through all of them. And then I go back later and then I, sort of fill out more of my notes.
And this is actually one thing here. I'm just, I'm not sure, we may be running over, but just to give you an idea of what the honey story is like. So I'm going to create one real quick. Your apiary was called Waverly Farm. Waverly Farms. So again, like says the story of honey at Waverly. Perfect. And the city was?
Lutherville.
Lutherville. And it's MD, right?
Maryland, yep.
United States. And then how many hives did you have?
There are 6 there.
6 there, perfect. So this gets created. So this is the honey story. Now we're gonna create the harvest profile. You harvested when last year in summer?
I'm sorry, say that again?
When did you harvest honey last year?
July and August.
So summer harvest 2024. We're gonna select the honey story we just created. We're gonna go Waverly Farms. We're gonna, you can either show the exact location or the approximate location, depending on what you feel comfortable sharing. We'll approximate it. We will do, let's do all hives. We can select records. and then we go harvest honey, and we create the to harvest honey. So actually this is big orchard and front field 1. So we don't need this one. 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 And we don't need this one. Perfect. So now we're going to create this. And we can look at your harvest profile. And this now has your story here. You can add your pictures. These are the records that you tied to it. And for the foraging details, do you know roughly what was foraged for the
Black locust.
black locust? And then we do, here's the black locust description. Black locust honey description. And what would be a few flavor tags of that honey?
Oh, Lloyd?
It's honey.
It's a light
It's a
honey.
light.
The light colored has a slight licorice taste. Very mild licorice taste.
So now it says sweet, light, slight licorice taste. You can add your descriptions here. Then the moment you click publish, it is now a website.
Oh.
And this is the QR code for your jar of honey.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh.
So if you scan this now, you will get to the page of your own honey story.
And
AI at its finest.
Okay. All right, wait a minute. So I could download that QR code and then I could put that code on my label.
Right.
Damn, I love this thing. All right.
So this is, this is the summer harvest 2024, right? So you can add pictures here. You can, and like you can, add additional flavor descriptions in here, honey description, plant description. These are your honey harvest records. You can create others. The pictures will show up here. And then and then when you go back, when you look at your honey stories, you can create different stories, right? So you can have one for black locust, you can have one for the regular flower honey, and then the harvest profiles, you update them spring, summer, fall, and then you match the two together. And then again, you can do one as a gift for a wedding, as a gift for a friend, or for the annual beekeeping conference, however you'd like to do that.
Oh my God.
So where does the website appear? In Hive Tracks?
It is, yeah, it's just we host it internally so it's and again, I'm gonna unpublish this.
Yeah.
But yeah, for
please do.
anybody, no, yeah, and if you want to take a look at it, it renders nicely on a mobile phone as well. So it's a very easy means to tell a cooler and better story about your honey.
Yeah.
And again, it works. We call it a story. So if you're selling, it works as well as if you're gifting or if you want to commemorate something. So I'm going to unpublish this. So now it's unpublished, and I'll leave it in here. So this could be the GB's honey story, right? So this is.
Okay, that is awesome. That is awesome.
So Max, I have I've got 10 colonies.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal this year is to get down to, I know it's terrible. I'd like to get down to something more manageable. I had picked 3.
If she does that, she increases them by 20.
Yeah. So I'd like to get down to 3. So in here, is there thought to say I have this hive? I've already numbered them so that I can say, okay, this hive, I made 6 splits out of it. And then have a space of how much each split was sold, and then like sold to, because I'm anal. I mean, they are my girls, and I do want to track them and stuff like that. And to me, it's like when I sell a nuke, part of that is to say, join Greater Baltimore Beekeepers, and have your own little hive tracks so that we can keep track of them and we can help you keep your bees alive.
We're only going to offer this to people who are paid members.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have 370 people on our Facebook page, but
if they're not
not all
paid, that
members.
what good does that do for us to try to keep it a manageable cost? But also, you know, I agree, they need to be paid members.
Yeah.
But it's such a service to them that it would behoove them to do that.
That's why I'm trying to get people to join.
Well, that's why I want to go through the Nuke way, because as I'm selling it to these people, you know, it's a great sales thing to say, hey, listen, now you're going to have a community that will be there to help you keep your bees alive.
Exactly. And I think finding these right ways of engaging, finding these means of like, you know, finding a right rhythm for a group. And I think this is something, I mean, we would love to, maybe there's outside of your next meeting, there's a call that we could have to like establish. It's almost like, what are the boundaries or rules around this? Who gets access? What are the ways? There's some of like, it's like a user manual
Right.
that we would like to do. And then I think, again, having the view only will make things easier. And then there's, you know, other components we can discuss, and it's going to be a learning, you know, this is something that has never existed. So it like, we need to learn how to deal with it and how to work with it. And I think that's going to be part of it. And then understanding how it fits into each individual's beekeeping journey and how it fits for this as a group. And also, how does it not create an additional burden, right? We want to make this simpler for people to engage when we're not together. It will not replace this, what we're doing right now, but it will connect us when we're not in the same room.
Right.
And the biggest thing I think too, which is a plus, is if you need help, if you think you might need help or whatever, just getting in the habit of keeping records. I unfortunately know several beekeepers who have come to me and asked me questions. I'm like, well, you know, when did you do this? Oh, I don't know. Well, aren't you keeping records? No. Well, you need to keep records, you know, and so that's what I think is great about this app, is that, you know, if they would take notes on the app and just say, I did this, I did that, I took a picture of it, I can then help them, and everybody else can help them too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
you know, and I think that's absolutely right. And we also see it as different levels, right? It's like, let's meet people where they are. And for some people, if they're just getting started and they want to take notes in a different way, that's great. We have a lot of people who take handwritten notes and then take a picture and upload it into the app.
Right.
Or they write on the top of the hive, take a picture of it and upload it into the app. So, you know, again, it's like wherever you are is good as a starting point. And then there's going to be some people who are like, oof, I'm part of the group, I'm sharing, I'm in there, I'm doing it. I mean, you know, look at the record. And we believe it creates this virtuous circle that like sees, you know, it's again this mutual accountability, right? It's like we see other people doing cool things, so we advance and get excited about it, and then we see, you know, we want to follow that, and then we can look back, and when somebody sees, oh wow, if I record now, I can look back next year and see what I'm doing differently, or where I'm not good at doing this in like March. That's really cool.
Wonderful.
Well, very good.
What's the best way to see what you've done in the past? When you're looking at the app and you bring up one of your hives, is it best to go to Hive History? Yeah,
the Hive History is the easiest way right now to scroll through. The other way, which is a little bit more all-encompassing, is if you go on click on the calendar button. And then on the calendar button, you have a monthly and a weekly view. And then on the monthly view, you see a dot on every day that you did something. So if you go click through the months that you see, under each day, there's a little dot that shows you if you did something on that day. And you think it's red for if you have an open to do, and it's green if you created something. And then depending on where your apiary is at the bottom of the calendar, you also see what other plants are in bloom in your state at the moment. So they will see a very short list currently, I guess, and then it will get longer and longer as spring progresses.
Yep. Cool. All right.
Well, thank you all so much. This was again, thank you
you.
for letting us play and for like being guinea pigs here and allowing us to kind of for you to be the very first people in the world to try this out.
Thank you very
we'll
much.
we'll follow up with an email, Lynn, obviously, that kind of just you get the password and the email and all of that with Sarah's email and my email, and then take some time this Sunday when you sit together and talk about this. And Sarah and I are not in the room. Again, you can't hurt our feelings. Please break it. Please rip it apart. Tell us what the things are that you would like to see in there or that just aren't working, right? That aren't intuitive or too easily breakable.
Right.
And then we will take it from there.
Okay.
So
Thank you both for coming and helping us get started with this and doing it. I'm excited. I hope everybody else is too. And it's going to be fun, just to get it going this year and see what we can come up with and share it with you too. So that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Max. Thanks, Sarah. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
this is exciting.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, no, we're excited for the season. Thank you so much for your help and just being there and being honest and open and as excited as we are.
Okay, well, thank you. And then I need to get in touch with you to figure out how to pay for the app, the pro app and
We'll get you the code and all
And
of
all
that. Yeah,
that, yep.
it'll we'll check in via email here. in a few
Okay,
days.
real good. All right, thank you. Good night.
All
Good
right.
night.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you much.
And if anybody has any questions or anything, we'll work this out,
Yeah, call Lynn.
I'm gonna
No, come to
create
the
early.
meetup. Come to the meetup, right,
Yes.
Lynn? Come to the
Yes.
meetup.
Come to the meetup, absolutely, absolutely. And I think what we'll do is we'll everybody play with this. I'm gonna have to reset all this up again, for the name. I'm gonna change the name. I'm gonna change the passcode and do all that kind of stuff. But hopefully it'll all stay the same in your app. So we're gonna have to make sure that works. And then everybody should sort of play with it, get the feel of it, and if they run into something that's a problem, make a note, let us know, and then I can send Max an email